Welcome, friends. Thank you for joining us. My name is Joel, and this is the O2 Drop. This is WA's VGC podcast, coming from Perth, home of Australia's smallest regional championships. Today I'm joined by my friends Dan.
What's up?
Freshly back from Italy, Chris.
So excited to be here. Yes, I've been frolicking around Europe for the last few weeks.
Amazingly jealous. And back fresh from Melbourne, Mark.
Yeah, I was there for a full 5 days. I feel like a different person.
You would. Yeah. Quickly, shout out to a member of the podcast that's not here today. We've forgotten to do this for 10 episodes. Ethan is actually the wonderful curator of the music that we have for our intros and outros. So definitely get him to record some music for you. He loves it.
And I should also point out as well, this isn't something that he's arranged and written well ahead of time.
No.
He literally just,
off the cuff,
every few episodes brings in his keyboard, plugs it in, and just bangs something out off dome, where he's basically mixing in some Pokemon tunes. I don't know if you've heard the last few episodes, we've used one where he kind of played a variation of The Horses by Daryl Braithwaite in honor of Calyrex being prevalent. So mad respect to the madly talented Ethan Walters.
Love it. So there's a pressing question for everybody who listens to the podcast, and we're going to answer it before we get to our hardcore Pokemon information.
Is it why I'm still single?
I was going to ask, Chris, did you find yourself a husband in Italy?
How did I know we were going there? I did not. I was very well behaved. It was like a look, don't touch kind of policy. But there's so many. I don't know if I'm just like bored of Australians, but like whenever I
You
go,
already fucked all of them.
whenever I go to another country, particularly Europe is notorious, but like, because I was in Spain and France last year, and this year I was in Ireland and Italy, and everywhere I look, there's just these like model-esque, like 9s and 10s, like everywhere you look, they're so hot. And I'm like, why? I don't get it.
You don't get it?
And people
You didn't get it? Yeah, sounds like it.
This will be a very controversial opinion, but I think gay guys need to walk around with like some sort of like they did like in, I don't know, like,
don't go there.
like a little patch or something they have to wear.
Not
so I
pink triangle, Chris.
Yeah, because otherwise I just don't know who I don't want to embarrass myself again hitting on a straight man. So I need some sort of notification.
I'd have to say at this point in my life, if I got hit on by a gay man, I would be very flattered, because I haven't been hit on by anyone in a decade.
You'd be surprised. I reckon it's happening and you're just not realizing it.
Probably.
Honestly.
I feel like I'm very autistic to social interactions.
Because you've like, correct me if I'm wrong, Chris, you are a type that a certain kind of gay guy would be very into.
I don't know what type that is. Desperate? No, I know. I think I take care of myself. Thank God this is not a video podcast, because Mark and I smashed a cheeky Nando's dinner before this podcast, and I'm covered in peri-peri sauce. And shout out to Nando's.
Suit. Nothing on it.
Mark's still in his gorgeous suit as always. We need a sponsor for the podcast. So Nando's, if you're listening, we know that everyone from Nando's listens.
Eat fresh.
Yeah.
That's up play.
I didn't know what Nando's slogan was, and I panicked.
Let's just chew it
Finger
up.
licking good. No, I don't
It's a
know.
rooster, right? Maybe it's like Nando's eat cock. I don't know. It's got a rooster symbol.
The Barcelona cockerel. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, thank you I did listen to the last couple of episodes, which I wasn't here to record, and thank you for my shout outs in both episodes 9 and 10. Thank you for mentioning my quest to get a Pokemon husband. So if you are listening and single and eligible and play Pokemon, definitely slide into our Twitter DMs
and join the community.
And
listen to the podcast.
Yeah.
Don't send any dick pics directly to the inbox, because Joel's getting those.
Yeah. I mean, if they come through to the inbox, I will just direct them to @themaster.
Yeah.
Well, Joel said that he hasn't been hit on in 10 years. Maybe he wants it.
Is this person flirting with me? I'm not sure.
This could just be a platonic dick pic. Yeah. I will say, if we do,
even worse, I'm married to a nurse. Hey, babe, does something look wrong with this?
I was going to say, if we do receive any cock shots directly into the O2 Drop inbox, I think we rate them next episode.
That could be special content, paid content only.
That would
Yes, yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, community, send in your dick pics.
O2 drop uncut.
Double entendre.
Nice.
Chris obviously has a preference.
No comment.
No comment.
As long as it's clean and functional.
Let's move on before we get too deep into this.
That's what she said.
Or what he said in Chris's case.
Yeah.
So one area topic that we were going to get into in episode 10 with Storytime with Drax was on resistance. We missed that because obviously Storytime with Drax was way too interesting to talk about.
And we need to get him back because I was riveted and I want more story time with Drax.
Yeah, I'm sad I missed being here for that.
I mean, post regionals, we always get a story time with Drax. So yeah, we need to get as many stories as we can. So the catalyst for the resistance discussion is based on a event that happened at the Sao Paulo Regional Championships, where the individual who finished 32nd and the individual who finished 33rd had identical win-loss, identical opponents' win percentage, identical opponents' win percentage. They did not play each other during the 14 rounds of Swiss or whatever they had. And so because they did not verse each other, it comes down to a random determinator by Tom, which means that an individual who did not do any better or any worse than the person above them missed out on $1,000 in prize money from that championship.
So do we want to just quickly explain to some of the more casual listeners what resistance is, what Tom is, so that we don't have people thinking that there's just some guy called Tom who's randomly
is he hot and single?
Tomo at every tournament just flipping a coin.
I mean, look, I don't know if Tom is hot or single, but it's definitely fucked me before. So,
So Tom is the tournament organizer management software, and resistance is a metric that shows you how many wins your opponents got in your run in a tournament. So if you versed very high quality opponents that finished high in the tournament, you will have a high resistance. So that is the first tiebreaker in Pokemon Organized play. The second tiebreaker is your opponent's win-loss, which takes into account everyone that your opponents played who was not you. So for anyone who might listen to sport, it's like a strength of opposition metric. So that is the second determiner or tiebreaker. Your third tiebreaker is a head-to-head. So did you play the person that you are tied with?
Yeah.
And then the fourth tiebreaker
so
is
if
the
you
random
played the
determination.
person you were tied with, whoever won that game that you both played
Finishes on top.
that person would be considered on top. Yeah.
Yes. So this played out for, I think, the first time in a money situation in organized play. So it raises a very interesting question of, is the tiebreaker system deep enough? And does resistance need to be there for Pokemon organized play? Or can there be something different done?
Yeah.
This kind of reminds me, I think it was EUIC where Wolfie didn't get into top cut, but even though he had the same amount of wins and losses as like other people that were in top cut, he bubbled out, which I think is just crazy. Like, Wolf missing out on top cut. Like, it's like, is there a system, and I know nothing about any of these systems, so I'm going to have very minimal input here, but is there a system where instead of it being like a strict top 32 or whatever, it's like, okay, everyone who got like X2 or X3 or whatever, or X2, I guess is probably better, but like anyone who's got a certain amount of wins, they have that top bracket, like the closest. So say there's like 30 people with X2, they do a top 32, and then just like the two highest ranking people that went like X3 get in, and then like they do like a top 32 rather than doing like a straight top 16 and half of the people that got X2 miss out. You know
I
what
think
mean?
this is something that does occur at World Championships, where anybody who previously had, I think it was based on whoever had the same record as the individual who finished 8th, made finals, and they play an asymmetric finals at Worlds, which is a top cut scenario where you don't fill it to 16. If there's like 13, your first, second, and third placed will have a bye in round 1 of the single elimination, and then everybody else plays on their opposing number. So
And
like 4 will verse 13, 5 will verse 12, so on through the bracket that will be
But I guess the
created.
problem with that is that those are still rated based on resistance as well, right? So it's not really getting rid of the resistance.
In that situation, so they're ranked on resistance, yes. But in terms of making it to the top cut, it's not based on resistance. It's based on a finishing score.
So is that better than what we have now?
Well, I think we should maybe talk about the potential alternatives that have been discussed. So Pokemon tournaments use what's referred to as the Swiss format, which was originally invented for chess.
By the Swiss?
No,
I mean,
I don't think it was.
no, it was someone named Swiss, I think.
Yes.
Yeah. But essentially it works. I mean, Joel's explained how it works. You know, you play a number of games, you have a number of wins and a number of losses, and to determine how you stack up compared to the other people with the same number of wins and losses, you will they use resistance. And in a Swiss format, it is designed so that someone will have, they will play the correct number of rounds, that someone will have no losses.
Yeah.
So in a 5-round Swiss format, there will be someone with 5 wins and no losses, and no other person with 5 wins and no losses. Which is really good if you only want to determine a winner.
Yes.
But with Pokemon, the way we do our tournaments, you've got the winner, and you have second place, and then you have top 4, and then you have top 8, top 16, top 32. And going down, those people get a decreasing amount of rewards like prize money and championship points, but still getting those rewards down to potentially top 32, top 64, and so on, depending on how large the tournament is. A lot of other video game tournaments use a double elimination format, which is essentially if you lose 2 games, you are eliminated from the tournament. A lot of people have suggested double elimination is better for Pokemon tournaments than the Swiss format, just because it doesn't involve resistance. You don't have those people missing out on the same win-loss record. But I personally don't feel that way, just because we do have those kind of tiers of, you know, top 4, top 8, top 16, where you could potentially be getting points. And if you just get unlucky in your pairings early on in a double elimination format, you're going to be eliminated early on and not have access to those potential, like, you know, runner-up points, so to speak.
In a double elimination tournament, you still do get ranked, but they're like odd number rankings. They have like a first, a second, a third, a tied 4th, 5th, a tied 6th, 7th.
Yeah,
so on.
You still get ranked, but the ranking system is more fair in Swiss, because if I rock up to a double elimination tournament, and I know it doesn't exactly work like this, but as kind of like a general example, if I'm like the 8th best player there, and I get paired up against the 3rd best player in the whole format, I'm a worse player than them, and I get dropped down into the losers bracket, and then I'm up against the 2nd best player who got paired up against the 1st best. I'm out by round 2. I'm going to be one of the lowest ranked people just by like unlucky matchups. That wouldn't happen in a Swiss format.
No. No, it could happen that you get paired out that way in a Swiss tournament, but you do have the opportunity to submarine.
Yes, yeah. Submarining be where you start on 1 or 2 losses and then come up to end up with a pretty good score towards the end of the day.
Yeah.
Which is not something that's available in double elimination.
Especially in these big tournaments, you can finish X2 and make day 2.
So just to clarify, a double elimination tournament means if you rock up to a tournament and go 0-2,
you drop.
You don't just drop. You don't just drop. You 0-2, go home.
Yeah. It's the O2 eliminated. Yeah.
That sounds, because I've gone 0-2 in sort of a tournament before and clawed my way back in. Like I don't like the sound of that.
Oh yeah, it's shit. That's what 2013 regionals was.
Yeah.
13, 14, and 15, I think, before Nintendo handballed it.
Imagine the pressure of losing the first round because you just get paired up against, I don't know, Alistair, for example.
Yeah.
Shout out to him. And then like the rest of the day, you just like having an anxiety attack because next loss you're out. Like
Exactly, yeah.
One loss away from elimination. Yeah, I mean, which can happen in Swiss as well. You know, if you're in a tournament where guaranteed 2 losses, guaranteed X wins 2 losses gets you into day 2. So if you lose a third game, you're just not going to make it further. You know, if you're on 2 losses, you're going to be feeling the same way.
So the only competitive Pokemon event that runs double elim currently is Pokemon Go at regionals. Runs.
So I thought you said competitive Pokemon.
Hey man, I'm going for my Go invite next year. And the camps are split from what I've seen on Pogo Twitter. There are definitely individuals who do not like the double elimination system, who want Swiss. And then there are individuals, probably the individuals doing well, who are like, yes, this is great and this is what it needs to be. Because, you know, depending on the amount of individuals that rock up, they just have to get through to like the top 20 remaining players on day 1 and they're through. So they might only have to play 5 rounds and then they're into day 2 on a double elim Pogo tournament. So there are individuals who would prefer that, especially when you consider how the loser bracket works. If you get to like the 5th round of the winners bracket, you would then lose and go to like the 3rd round of the losers bracket or something like that. So you get put back a fair way in the tournament because the loser bracket keeps getting filled.
Yeah. Okay.
Whereas the winner bracket keeps getting reduced.
I think it was a lot worse like in previous generations purely because now we have OTS. Like imagine getting cheesed by some like, CTS strat and then, now I'm 0-1. Now, then it's like extra pressure.
And Pogo gets OTS as well.
Yeah.
So like they have the same system as VGC where they know what their opponents have. They know the moves that their opponent has. They can see the training of their opponent's Pokemon. So they have an idea of what's coming and can prepare accordingly in the same way that when we look at an OTS in VGC, we can see the moves, abilities, items. We kind of know what's coming. We can see based on their team what they might play into our team, and we can make decisions accordingly.
Or in the random Asian circuits, how they have natures also included on the OTS.
Where was that? I didn't see that.
There's a few of them. Yeah, I think
Korea. Wow.
Thailand does it as well. Like some random Southeast Asian tournaments just have natures on OTSs.
God,
Crazy.
that sucks.
Is there an option C?
Well, I was about to say that I think we collectively, and I know there are some people who disagree with this, but in this room, we all feel that Swiss is still the best format.
Out of those 2 options, yes.
Yeah, but I think Swiss is still the best format, but we shouldn't use resistance to determine tie breaks, to determine break points.
I agree. I believe that Swiss is the best and most fair system to determine a finish.
Yep.
It's how we then handle Swiss that I think could change. And I think that at points events, there should always be asymmetric finals.
That makes sense to me.
Yeah.
So can you describe what you mean by asymmetric finals?
We already did.
But
I'll explain it
I asked
again.
before about when like Wolfie didn't top cut UIC.
Yeah, but
So it's ace. So if we say, for example, we want to say if you finish X2 at a 7-round tournament, you're going to make top cut. And at the end of that 7-round tournament, there are, would say 19 individuals who finish X2.
Yep.
A single elimination bracket works on exponents of 2. So you want 2 people, 4 people, 8 people, 16 people, 32 people.
Yes,
That's how you want to fill it. So you fill the numbers.
Yeah.
But the individuals who finish highest, so your person who is XO, and then the 2 people who are, or the 2 highest ranked individuals who are X1 would get a bye in the first round of the elimination bracket.
Gotcha. So you'd still have 16 competitors, but instead of having the top 16 and then eliminating everyone under that, you would have the bottom 16 within the people with the requisite win-loss ratings, and then everyone above that is quote-unquote eliminated from the bracket, which is to say they get to skip the first round.
Yes.
Okay.
So you're filling up the top cut brackets fill up from the bottom of the 19,
Yes.
and then there's 3 left over.
Yeah.
So that means so the 8 winners, but then there's 3 left over from the buyers. So there's 11 players now after the first round of top cut.
No, sorry, I think I might have got that wrong. So I think like 16 will play 17, 15 will play 18, and 14 will play 19 in the first round of the elimination bracket.
Right.
Sorry.
Okay. Yeah.
So then you eliminate it down to 16 and you progress.
Okay, that makes more sense. Yeah.
And the other option that I believe could exist for big tournaments.
A duel.
And
car park fight. Yeah.
I think this is something that could potentially work for big VGC events is you have a day 1 X2 requirement and then double LM day 2.
Just so day 2 is just a flat double elimination.
I feel
Because
like that's something that could work.
At the moment, for those who aren't aware, at larger tournaments where they have a second day of the tournament, the Swiss rounds continue into the second day.
With resetting resistances.
Yes. The resistance is reset, but let's say in Melbourne Regional Championships, I made it to the second day with 6 wins and 3 losses, and Dan made it in with 7 wins and 2 losses.
Which would have been because they needed to fill 32 spots.
Yes, yeah. So I was one of the highest. I had some of the highest resistance of anyone who went 6 wins, 3 losses. And so I was still at a disadvantage in the second day because I had to pick up an extra win to essentially get to the same level as Dan.
Yeah.
But essentially what you're saying is instead of that Swiss format continuing to the second day, anyone who makes it to the second day, be it either the top 32 people or anyone with 7 wins and 2 losses.
The
prerequisite win-loss, yeah. The Swiss would then dissolve essentially, and it would just be double elimination on the second day. That's your suggestion?
That is one thing that I think could work.
I don't hate that idea because I think the downsides of double elimination that we have are, first of all, that you could get eliminated potentially unfairly pretty early on into the tournament, which isn't really an issue when you're in the second day anyway. And the other issue that we haven't mentioned about double elimination is you might, pay to rock up to a tournament, lose the first 2 games, and then you just don't get to play Pokemon for the rest of the day. Whereas in Swiss, you could, lose all 9 rounds, but you still get to play 9 games of Pokemon.
You were there.
Just Jamie Boyd that.
Look, despite the name of the podcast, I might lose every single game, but I'm never going to drop. I'm there to play Pokemon.
Exactly.
I've had terrible tournaments and I've never dropped.
Yeah.
I was 0-2 at Melbourne Regionals and didn't drop. I ended up
you were 6'3" as well, right?
I went 6'3". That is 65th. And whichever piece of shit Tom decided on that, shortchanged me 10 CP. Thank you. I'll have that back.
Yeah, but I mean that therein lies the issue, I guess, of like you won as many games as the people. You won as many games as me.
Exactly.
I made it to day 2, and you didn't even get top 64. And I think that's the issue that a lot of us have with resistance is, the fairness aspect to it. Like I kind of understand there is a vague fairness aspect to it where obviously I've beaten the people who are considered to be harder to beat because my opponents won more games. But like, for example, I've missed out on making top cut before because one of my opponents, after losing to me, just decided they didn't want to play for the rest of the day, and that just torpedoed my resistance.
Yeah. And I hate it when people drop that you've played against. That torpedoed mine. That happened to me in Melbourne. I think 2 of my players dropped.
Yeah, I think we were stalking all of them. I'm like, okay, no.
Yeah, genuinely keeping an eye on everyone's performance.
Yeah, I think one of the situations where it worked in my favor was Perth Regionals 2023, where I finished 4-3, but finished in top 32 points because I was like the 3rd quote-unquote best 4-3. But my run was I played the eventual winner of the tournament.
Yep.
I played 2 individuals in top 8 and another 2 individuals in top 16. Only 2 of my opponents ended up having a worse record than me, and most of my 4 of my opponents were X1.
Yeah.
In that tournament. So like to me, yes, I had a fucking hard tournament, so I deserve to be above the other 4-3s.
Yeah.
But to that point, everyone who's 4-3 should probably get the same amount of points.
Yeah.
In that. Like when we're not talking cash prizes, I think the points should roll based on finish
rather
record.
than top 32, top 64.
Yeah.
I think
I think they're good guideline.
There's probably a reason that wouldn't work, and I'd love to invite some of our more mathematically inclined listeners to kind of explain. It's like, actually that wouldn't work because the Swiss format specifically relies on. But to me, that right now that sounds like a good idea.
So what we're saying is basically the consensus sounds like keep Swiss, but then for the day 2 Swiss, either replace that with double elimination, or for top cut, replace that with asymmetrical top cut.
Yes, and I think in our local events as well could benefit from an asymmetric cut where everyone who has the record of 8th makes it into top cut.
Yeah, I like that idea. At the very least, however, if 2 people are tied on opponent's win rate and opponent's win rate, they should at least be allowed to do a sudden death to figure out which one of them gets $1,000.
I mean, the next part is head-to-head, and if they haven't had a head-to-head, they should have a head-to-head.
Yeah, exactly. When I first heard it's like if it's not determined by opponent's win percentage or opponent's win percentage is determined by head-to-head, I thought that meant they have them play against each other.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, that's fair.
At least like a mud wrestle or something. and put that on stream. Imagine the views.
Yeah.
If you had Pokemon players mud wrestling.
Wolf on stream.
I think, this discussion, let's say it's all for naught. No one listens and nobody changes anything.
No, what do you mean? Everyone listens to this show.
Mr. Pika, we know you're listening.
Pikachu, when you hear this, please,
So
Sort your shit out.
big Pika organized play. I think that if we are not going to change anything with how tournaments are run, there needs to be a 5th tiebreaker, in my opinion, which would eliminate the current 4th tiebreaker. So there still needs to be 4 tiebreakers, but the 4th one should be first to lose, I think, which is if you are tied on all those metrics with somebody else, if you lose in round 4 and your opponent got their first loss in round 5, you lost first, so you are lower ranked.
Okay.
That's interesting.
Interesting.
Yeah. I mean, I don't love it, but it's better than what we've got. Like, for example, previously.
Better than a coin flip.
Yeah, it is so much better than a coin flip.
Who is
But
dressed better would be a great final time.
Best dressed, maybe on their star
Like-
sign as well. Like if they're like Gemini or Scorpio, pet them down.
Whoever's going to have their birthday next.
Yeah. Oh, hey, speaking of, my birthday's on Friday.
Guess the number between 1 and
Which should
100.
be tomorrow when it comes out.
It
Yeah,
will,
yes. My birthday is tomorrow. Please tweet at the O2 drop. Happy birthday, Mark.
Happy birthday, future Mark.
Please, everybody, give at Comrade Clown VGC a happy birthday tomorrow.
I'll drop my PayPal on the Twitter.
Send in your dick pics to Mark.
Put a little bow on them,
Yeah,
please.
yeah.
Yeah.
A dick in a box.
It's a dick in a box. It's in a box.
Showing our age with that one, surely.
Yeah, no. Nothing makes me feel older than loving a Lonely Island.
Lonely Island.
I
Jesus.
do love it.
Sometimes their videos pop up on my YouTube and this is like released 16 years ago. I was like, Jesus Christ.
I was on a boat in the Amalfi Coast, and you can guess what?
This
Lonely
dolphin
Island.
splashing, getting
Doing
everybody
flips and
away.
shit.
That was a banger.
So good. Okay, let's move on to things that most of our listeners will actually enjoy.
Dick pics.
We're gonna
Yeah,
rate them.
you can find ours on our exclusive Patreon stream.
OnlyFans coming. So since we last recorded, we have had 3 events. We've had LA Regional Championships, Lima Special Events, and Bologna Special Event.
So I said Bolognese special event.
Yes.
It's pronounced baloney. How dare
Bologna, sorry. So specifically, special events don't have cash payouts, but they have the CP payouts. CP being championship points, not CPPs. Should we start with the biggest drama of the most recent event, or should we go through these events and have
Start with LA.
Quick
'cause it's the oldest
question though. Are we going to talk about the most recent Premier Challenge that happened here in Perth?
Oh yeah.
What was that? I don't recall
It was
that.
the last
Dan doesn't
last
recall.
Premier Challenge of Perth. Last opportunity for anyone to get any championship points here in Perth to qualify for the World Championships. Dan, you needed to win that one to qualify for the World Championships, didn't you?
Yes.
Yeah. How'd you go?
I lost in the finals.
So you came second?
Yes.
Yeah, rough.
If it was double limb, I would have had another shot. I'm going to change my stance.
I think so. You ended up just shy of the 300 CP.
286.
Yeah.
So if I won, it would have been exactly 300.
which is for anyone outside of Australia listening, that's the oceanic points requirement. Is
We don't have any events here, so it's hard for us to get CP.
Yeah.
I argue Perth should have a lower cap.
Oh, yeah. For sure.
The world's most isolated city needs the world's lowest cap.
Exactly.
Well, I actually, congratulations first of all for winning the MSS.
Thank you.
And then coming second in the PC, like that's so close. Like it's would you rather have come second or just like dropped out and not got done well at all? Like,
Probably just should have just like dropped immediately. Like
it's just. All right, so we've only got two Perth people now qualified for Worlds.
So, Dan, how do you feel though? Because this is the second year in a row where someone's narrowly missed out, and if it had happened to me, I probably cut myself. Like,
why do you think he's wearing long sleeve?
Yeah.
Like,
and the shoes with no shoelaces, Mark pointed out.
Like, I don't know. Like, I don't want to put words in your head, but like it stings me being like a community member that we were like that close, and you had to have the sweatiest finish to a season. You went undefeated Swiss at an MSS, won the MSS in Top Cut. You then went undefeated in Swiss at a PC and got to your final opponent. And I think it was just a shitty matchup, right? Like,
it was against Ben O'Neill, who was running the Maridon, his own spin on it. Beat him in Swiss, but I think he had enough time to think about it.
It was a close 3-game set as well.
It
like it came down to the last couple of turns in game 3. It was pretty intense.
Yeah. But it was definitely going to be like a legend run, I guess. Like with the last 3 events being 2 PCs and an MSS.
it would have been 16-0. Like if you had got it.
It would have been, yeah. But as we pointed out at the Premier Challenge, local hero Kieran Singh, Melbourne Regional Champion, last year he was a small amount of points where he needed to win the last Premier Challenge of the season to make it to the World
He was in
Championship.
exactly the same situation.
Exactly the same situation.
Did he come second?
And then he got
went
eliminated top
undefeated in
4.
Swiss,
He was in
though.
okay.
Undefeated in Swiss, eliminated in top 4. And then the following year, he came and just won Melbourne Regionals.
Yeah,
so
that's what I'm hearing. I'm still in Melbourne.
big things coming for you, Dan.
I think we need to next season. I'm just going to have to go to Brisbane and Melbourne and Perth, and I go to. If hopefully we get Oceanics back as well, and hopefully Sydney Regionals comes back. If you're listening, play Pokemon or ESL Australia or whoever does them events in Australia. We need more events. Please bring them back. You keep taking them away.
I think that the individuals who are serious know what they have to do now.
Yeah.
Like from Perth. And that is that you have to go to basically all the regionals. You have to give yourself maximum exposure to points.
I mean, I could have done it if I participated in the Global Challenge 1, but it was the same time as Melbourne Regionals, so it was like totally over.
I remember that. Yeah, just kind of some people playing their Global Challenge games in the hotel room.
Yeah, just like, why am I doing this?
Including local Timothy Nurse, who locked in his team wrong and had Specs Flutterman with 1 move.
Oh, no. It was Shadow Ball Terra Fairy.
Shadow Ball Terra Fairy.
Defensive Fairy Terra.
He still finished pretty well in the GC as well.
I know Sliff already gave a shout out to all the TCG players that went to the MSS for the numbers, but I wasn't here, so I really want to thank the TCG community for getting all their numbers to the MSS. It was really crazy to see how many TCG players there were at our MSS. And so shout out to Kara who brought Vivian. She's a fellow Darkness Poison GLC TCG Gym Leader Challenge TCG player myself. So she's an absolute legend. So thank you for coming along, TCG players.
Yeah, and other notes from that PC, local member Scott Free almost died in bottom cut.
Oh, he did, yes.
It was a sudden death bottom cut, and he took it very literally.
Had to get rushed to hospital.
Yes.
Because of what we now know is a kidney stone.
Yeah.
So that's all fine now, but he was not having a good time. Local
hero.
Local hero Jared Clappin originally asked, do you want me to take you to the hospital? And then someone else said, I can take him. And Jared said, oh, thank God, because I wanted to play this out.
But yeah, shout out to Gemma for actually taking Scott to the hospital and staying with
shout
him,
out to Gemma for taking Scott to hospital, making sure he didn't die. And shout out to Jared for offering.
Wasn't Scott supposed to give you a prize? That you will never get now because he's dead?
He survived, fortunately, so I'm going to get it, yes. So in Perth, we run what's referred to as a bottom cut, which is essentially for all the losers who didn't make it into top cut, we do a kind of our own little consolation tournament so that we feel left out. of like the equal attention cake that toddlers get so they don't cry on someone else's birthday.
I want to shout out to our listeners from the eastern states, and I just want to say that you are wrong. It is not called thug cut. It is called bottom cut.
We have tops and bottoms here in Perth.
I saw a snippet from one of your discords. It is not thug cut. It is bottom cut.
Or at
Thank
least
you.
tweet us and explain why it's called thug cut.
Because they think they're thugs, but we all play Pokemon.
While we're talking about the PC, shout out to Sophia Raging Bolt Crunkhorn, who this was I think her second ever like VGC event. She now has the only person in the world that we know of that has
No, because Sayun Park has 3 invites.
Well, okay. The second,
Jesus Christ,
second
really?
person in the world to get CP in Pokemon Go, VGC, and TCG.
Yeah, so I've challenged her to get the 3 invites next year. There will be enough events in Perth that she can get a local invite.
And make a Unite team for Worlds.
I at one point was super keen on that, and now I'm just like, nah, man. Like last time I got on, I just had bots for like 5 games in a row. I was like, sucks ass. I'm going to verse real people, and I'm going to be shit.
So do we have any more shout outs for the local PC before we circle back to what Joel was originally going to talk about 20 minutes ago?
Oh yeah, shout out to Chris's sister.
Okay, so before we get onto events, I want to, we don't have any awards in this show, but I think we should create an award, and that is Mouth Breather of the Year.
We're not just going with Chris honorable mentions? Or is Mouth Breather of the Year above that?
It's way below in terms of how
Chris
bad it
Honorable
is.
Mentions is my own personal segment.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah,
I don't want to co-op your name or anything.
So Mouth Breather of the Year was an individual who was on stream at Bologna.
Oh, yes.
I know what you're talking about.
Who was in round 5. He was on stream. I'm trying to find the dude's name, but I can't.
I can tell you his name.
Yeah, you find the name for us.
Wait,
Chris.
was he? Okay, I was confused whether it was the Italian player or the American player.
It was
There
the
were
American
multiple,
player
weren't
because
there?
he copped a dis.
Was the American player?
Was the American player because he got the DQ after. So this individual was on stream and for some reason went to the information screen of his Pokemon.
Ooh.
A screen that for no reason do you need to go to at any
The
point.
check summary screen.
The check summary, right? So it doesn't have any information that's going to help you with your game.
This isn't the
Because-
screen where you can check how many like stat raises and stat drops you've got. That's different.
No, it's not. It's basically like when you're playing the single player game and you look at a Pokemon and you go check summary info and trainer ID, you know, what it's carrying, what its XP is at. So Mouth Breather of the Year went to this screen during a stream to show that his Terrapagos came from
The original trainer.
the original trainer was freemons.org.
We're talking about Jason Pekalski? Joseph Pekalski?
Yes.
Joseph Pekalski.
So congratulations to Joseph
Pekalski.
Pekowski. You are
Wazowski.
Mouth Breather of the Year.
Such a Chad move.
Freshmons.org Terrapagos.
I'm going
Yeah.
down in a blaze of glory.
If I ever make it to a big enough event where I end up on stream, I just want to have one of my Pokemon have the OT as like TPCI's mother or something like that.
So, yeah, for some reason, I don't know if he owns this website or whatever, but the Pokemon was obviously hacked because on a hack check at the end of that round, there was some leaked information that his Terrapagos had 0 attack IVs, which is not possible.
Yeah.
Why
Now-
would you oh my God, people are dumb.
People are very dumb.
People are mouth breathers.
People are mouth breathers.
But only one person is a mouth breather of the year.
Joseph Pekowski.
June.
His opponent from that round ended up winning it.
Ed-
Alessio?
Quite possibly. Mouth breather of the
What?
financial year.
Nice. So, yeah, for obvious reasons, yeah, Alessio Fusca
Fusca.
went 15-0. He finished top 8. So Joseph Pekowski then obviously ended up with a DQ in the next round or forced to drop or whatever. But I just want to be very clear that you would not get DQ'd for that Pokemon. That Pokemon would just get removed because it's obtained illegally, right? He would have had to have 2 more Pokemon that were obviously illegal in that team to cop a DQ.
How was it not a DQ though? Like, what about when all the Spanish players, 20 players had the same Ting Lu?
So that was that. There's difference. It's it's super technical to get into, but there's 2 categories on manual hack check.
Yeah.
And there's Pokemon obtained illegally and then Pokemon manipulated.
Surely they're the same thing.
They are, but they are not. Right? So this individual would have had to have had at least 2 more Pokemon that were of the same type to get DQ'd for that.
Yes. I mean, like, I loved the memes on Twitter about it. Like, I had a field day, but honestly, it's well-deserved mouth brother.
Yes.
I hope he owns the site because that's great advertising.
That's really good advertising. Like, if you've ever been on the Wonder Trade and you've received like a shiny legendary, and it's like, oh, this is really cool, and the original trainer is Machamps.com, and they're just using it to spruik the website.
Yeah, because I came into Sword and Shield very late. I came in at the end of its thing, and I did a Wonder Trade like straight away, and I got like Wonder Traded like a 6 IV, like shiny Regieleki. I was like, oh my God, people give these things away. And then the OT trainer was like pokegym.net or whatever. Or
Yeah,
like
yeah.
pokegym.disc for Discord or whatever. So
While we're on the Bologna,
Bolognese.
I was in Bolognese or Bologna. And I had Bolognese.
Bolognese was in
Bologna.
you.
He was lost in the sauce.
I want to give a shout out. There was a guy on stream, Matteo Centrone, who had brought his poker walker. Do you remember those?
I've still
Jesus.
got
From Heart Gold Soul Silver.
Yeah,
I've
he's
still
brought his
got
poker
one.
walker, and he had his poker walker on stream. So I want to shout out to that legend.
Was that Heart Gold Soul Silver?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it came with the pack.
I remember it came in a
Sprouse
really
twin
bulky box.
Did an advertisement for that, I remember. They called it
Okay.
Pokemon.
Pokemon.
Interesting. I've heard they sell for a fair bit of money these days.
Yeah, because the bloody Logan brothers inflated the price of everything Pokemon.
Ugh.
I do them.
Which
Both of
one?
Yeah, I prefer Logan.
Interesting.
I had
Really?
to do- if I
He's
had
the
to
one
do-
with like the shaggy hair, right?
The clean cut kind of face.
I
Yeah.
like
Right.
more clean cut, yeah.
Yeah, so obviously Joseph has given a certain rage beta lots of content.
Can't wait
But-
for that.
The Voldemort of the community.
It's-
They will not be named.
Yeah, he who will not be named anymore on this podcast. But obviously people, cheating is bad, breeding is super easy, make some friends, and you won't have this problem.
Breeding is super easy. You're talking about Pokemon, or you're telling this person to go out and get laid.
Yeah, it's like Chris went to Italy.
Come on, Chris, what are you doing? Breeding is easy.
I think he has a difficulty there though.
I'm sorry, don't look like you're going to kill me.
I'm not. I can get laid, but I want more than that. I want commitment.
If you're a single man looking for love,
Yeah, so
tweet us at the O2 drop.
So to clarify, breeding Pokemon in Scarlet and Violet is super easy. Boulder caps exist to train. Training is easy. Get some friends to trade legendaries. Why waste all that money going somewhere? Because he was a US citizen. I don't know if he lives in
Maybe.
Italy or whatever, but you paid money to attend a tournament and then you get yourself DQ'd for being a fuckwad. Yes, I agree. It's a Chad move.
It's so bad.
It's very funny.
In your case, you can't actually breed a Terrapagos in this scenario.
No,
But,
you
I mean,
can't,
it doesn't take that long to sit in front of an encounter and reset until you get a 0 attack IV. If you really care about foul play damage that much.
Can't because it's Terrapagos is fixed.
It's IV locked.
Oh, well, then you're not. Then you're not.
It makes it even
anybody
stupider
else.
that
Then.
they've yeah. Because this is like, I've always said before that like genning Pokemon is, you get DQ'd, don't do it. But for the most part, there's never any, unfair advantage that you gain over your opponent. But in this case, there literally was because
Yeah. You are right. Sorry. He may have been given the DQ for having a 0 IV.
yeah, because
that is
that's
a competitive advantage.
yes,
Yeah.
yep.
Crazy.
But
Right.
I'm sure if his Terrapagos was, everything was.
Yeah, most likely. There were all of his mons were from Machamps.com or whatever the website he used.
Freemons.org.
Freemons.org.
I mean, I've got to agree with that. I got back from Melbourne pretty recently. I literally just basically out of boredom made an entirely battle-ready team of 6 Pokemon from scratch on that flight. So we're talking less than 4 hours to make 6 Pokemon from not having them to catching them, IVs, EVs, moves, ability, everything.
And even with
So-
sandwiches, they could be shiny. Like, it's not hard.
Yeah, exactly. This whole, it's not hard. You're right. Like going back to Gen 4, I think, Drax was talking about this last episode. about, having to reset for days to try to get a Pokemon with decent IVs.
And only having 2 IVs that carry through on a breed.
Yeah.
Just don't do it, okay? It's not worth it.
Okay, so while we're
Have
on
good box hygiene.
Let's talk about
Have good box hygiene. Thank you, Mark. I suppose while we're on Bologna, let's continue on Bologna.
Well, I always think that Europe and Japan have much more exciting metagames than America and Australia. And
Yes. So 897 teams at Bologna VGC special event. Top usage, no surprise. Incineroar 50% win rate. The very definition of middle of the road Pokemon. And my favorite little tidbit is that the number 1 core continues to be Fire, Water, Grass, Raging Bolt. 6.3%. Raging Bolt, Amoonguss, Incineroar, Urshifu Water.
This is day 1. I'm assuming you're talking
This is
about
overall. Overall, yeah.
Okay.
So yes, day 1.
Yeah, day 1.
Because everyone who played in day 2 was in fact involved in day 1.
Well, day 2, Rillaboom overtook.
It did, yeah.
I saw that. Yeah.
Yes, it did. Yeah.
What was it? It went
50.7% Rillaboom compared to 49.3% Incineroar. And most excitedly, Clefairy, number 6,
Yeah.
29.0%.
That Clefairy Calyrex Shadow team was popping up a lot. It was on most of the streams that I watched. It was in the very fine. In fact, I think it won.
It did. Yeah. It won Bologna.
It was Bologna as well. The worst RNG hacks.
Bologna with extra cheese.
That like the first one, the guy got crit through screens, and in the second game, his Chi-Yu double missed Heat Wave.
what was doing screens for Luca? Was that the giraffe was doing?
No, it was light screen Whimsicott.
It's just, I think screens are a trap. I think crits seem to be so prevalent in the game that I don't even bother with screens anymore.
There's a mon that just ignores them.
Holy
well, yeah, but he wasn't running Reflect.
Yeah.
It was just light screen.
That is a wild Farigiraf on Luca Cirabelli's team. Psychic Noise, Foul Play, Helping Hand, Trick Room with Electric Seed.
Yeah. That was pretty common.
Very cool.
That was quite common. I saw a couple of
ground for resistance next to your Marauder.
Yeah. So you can go Terra Ground and ignore the discharge. I do want to talk briefly though about one of the casters of Pokemon who commonly pop up commentating events. His name is Costa. I forget his last name. He was in a win and in, which is to say needed to win to make it to the second day. On the last game of day one, up against his opponent, whose name I forget, but I've started talking about this, and people who haven't seen the game are not going to know what I'm talking about, but the plays were insane. The way he was able to consistently maneuver the Trick Room around his opponent, trying desperately to turn it off, was one of the funniest things it was like a Looney Tunes sketch, genuinely, or like some spy versus spy shit. Like it was the second game, turn 2.
Costa Didymos.
That's the one. He sends out his Farigiraf. His opponent also has Farigiraf. His opponent clicks Trick Room on the Farigiraf, thinking that Costa is going to Trick Room on his Farigiraf to turn it off again. Costa just simply doesn't click Trick Room on his Farigiraf, and also decorates his Farigiraf with his Smeargle to give it +2 special attack. What? It was decorate Smeargle.
Holy shit.
So it was decorate Smeargle and Farigiraf to set Trick Room. Smeargle had Fake Out the following turn. It can decorate the Farigiraf, or the Farigiraf can switch into a Blood Moon Ursaluna or a Calyrex Ice, give it the extra attack stats. That's the idea behind the team.
Yeah.
But turn 2, in fact, I think it might have genuinely been turn 1. He simply didn't click Trick Room. His opponent clicked Trick Room trying to turn it off and instead just set the Trick Room for him. He had a +2 for a Giraffe in Trick Room and his opponent just conceded immediately.
Really?
Yeah.
But whose giraffe was slower? Because that could have.
I think Costa's was, or it could have been a speed tie.
That was against Fetacampo, wasn't it?
Shit, it was.
Yeah.
Even a +2 giraffe still isn't like wiping out the whole field. It's not as strong as you think it is.
I mean, I've run for a giraffe before, and I've run more offensive sets.
Yes. Mark has run offensive choreograph before.
Listeners of the show will be aware of what I did to Joel at the
The
last
2023 OCIC.
Oceanic International Championships. Yes,
But it doesn't have like what spread? Does it have a spread move? Hyper voice.
Hyper voice,
Yeah,
yeah.
okay.
It's spread, stab. A lot of them run throat spray.
I don't know. I reckon conceding straight away is dumb. I reckon you could have.
If nothing else, he did it for the bit.
This one had skill swap as well, just to be interesting
On the Ferrigiraffe.
on the Farigiraf.
That's right, he did, because that way you can, like, if your Ferrigiraf is about to die,
You can give
you
Armor
skill swap
Tail.
Armor Tail onto something else so that your opponent still can't use any priority moves.
Oh, wow. That's an interesting
Cooked or
team.
cooking?
I watched that game. Cooking.
Cooking. I mean, he did go 9-6, top 64. So, yeah, cooking.
Yeah, from the sounds of it, he didn't go very far in day 2, but it was
No,
it was very funny to watch. And if anyone
had
is considering
Gudra as well.
Yeah,
for a little
yeah,
bit of
yeah.
Spice.
a cool team, very cool
There
team.
was actually I saw quite a few Hisui and Gudras in Bologna.
I think that has become an archetype that a few people have picked up. I'm not overly familiar with what the archetype is, though.
I don't know why they're not just running like.
I think it's just slow. It's been like Shelter, Press, Ironhead.
Zamazenta at home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Zamazenta without having to use your restricted slot.
Yeah, which, depending on your take on it, could be good or could be bad. It's like the old wide guard argument, right? Like wide guard on your restricted, you don't really want to click it.
Yeah.
Oh, Life Dew as well. So it's just a really physically bulky Pokemon
Yeah.
healing your shit.
It was Calyrex Ice, right?
Calyrex Ice.
Yeah.
Speaking of bulky Pokemon, Lunala was 5th highest in usage
Of the restricted.
of the restricteds.
Yes.
Yes, which I think is cool.
In day 2.
Yeah, it was higher than Zamazenta, Kyogre, Cryogon, Groudon, and Zacian. So that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, on overall for the event, they had, this is top 256, but yeah, fairly standard, like 48 Calyrex Shadow, 41 Calyrex Ice, 40 Miraidon. So, super dope. Miraidon went from, that is 8th, I think, up to 5th usage, you said.
It's,
so.
No, Miraidon is 4th. I was talking about Lunala, who was 5th.
Yeah. It's interesting that Calyrex Shadow is back on top, because for a while at the start of Reg G, it was not having much success.
Yeah, I was gonna
either in
say
terms of
that.
usage or results.
It was having success in onlines.
Yeah.
But it hadn't got the big win in a big event, a big in-person event. But I think very interesting to note that it had Chi-Yu and Tornadus as its support.
Yeah.
I think the thing
Like
that
fast thing, go faster and do more damage.
the thing that people have figured out is that it needs Clefairy. With Clefairy, it does work. Like
yeah.
Is
Day
this
2.
Is this like Wolfie's team? Exactly?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes,
yeah.
and
Helping Hand,
that's what
Friend
won.
Guard, Yeah.
Day 2, there was 21 Kelly Shadows in Bologna, and there was 20 Clefairy. Like,
Jesus.
there was one Shadow Rider in top 32 that didn't have a Clefairy. So people are figuring it out. Like, it won LA regionals as well.
Yeah. Is
Like,
that
yeah.
just providing the friend guard support?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Friend Guard, follow me.
Follow me. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So if you have a single target, you're up shit creek.
Get a
basically.
cheeky singing here and there.
Yeah, they're not
Yeah.
running. They're not running Moonblast, are they?
No.
Oh, Helping Hand as
Is it-
well to make sure those
Yeah.
Astral
Helping Hand.
Barrages
I think
pick up
Icy
those
Wind, just got
KOs.
any attack?
If it is it an attack, it's Icy Wind. Otherwise, you also can throw an After You for Trick Room coverage. So,
A lot of the ones I saw were running Protect, actually.
yeah.
Yeah.
It was
winner
Follow Me, Helping Hand, Protect, Sing.
Protect, yeah.
I'd rather run after you than Sing. I know Sing. It's like if it hits you win.
It is
doesn't.
funny.
But like after you in the Trick Room matchup, I think it's also equally hilarious. So
I mean, shout out to local hero Kieran Singh for at the MSS. What was it? Missed 4 Sing
4 or 5, then
and
2 Will-O-Wisps. in
and
the
then
same
2
set.
Will-O-Wisps
Yeah.
in the same set in
if
the final round.
if the move is not 100% accurate, then it's 50% accurate.
And it's 0 according to Kieran.
Yeah, I was going to say Kieran Singh, his middle name must be Mist.
Sing
Kieran missed
But
because what is Sing? 55%.
I thought it was 60.
55. It's a worse
55.
hypnosis.
So
Yeah.
it's like what 26% miss, then 12. So they're like 6% roll to miss
Yeah.
4 in a row.
That's kind of nutty.
It was a hilarious game on stream that he leads Kelly and Clefairy, goes for nasty plot and sing and hits the sing. It was very hype. He just pretty much won the set, I think.
Yeah.
Nasty plot.
I think-
Yeah.
Sing from Clefairy, it's kind of like Fisher Ting Lu, whereas
Yeah.
like you're just going to sit there and throw it out, and if it connects, you're in a really good spot, and if it misses, oh well, let's just do it again next turn.
Click the funny button.
I think
the
it's
funny button.
better because you also get friend guard. Like if you miss, like, oh well, you still
I
provide.
mean, Ting Lu has like Diet Frengard.
Yeah, exactly.
Diet Frengard. I have not experimented with Frengard very much, but obviously it works. Like,
Yeah.
that cannot be argued. It's got 3 wins under its belt now for the season. Did it win Lima as well?
No. I think it's just the
only
two.
2.
Yeah.
2. But 2 very big in LA and Bologna.
Yeah. I think we'll see a lot of it at Worlds. That's my hot prediction.
Lima. Oh no, Lima was a tiny event, but it was won by the Turtle with Clefairy.
Yeah.
Okay, so it has won 3.
Yeah. So the Clefairy does have 3, yeah. And this was on a Calm Mind Terapagos. So one thing I've noticed for the Turtle is probably in the last 3 events, like the Calm Mind variant being way more common. And I wonder if that's because the Zoom and Boom Choice Specs Turtle is kind of more of like an American take.
Is it more common or is it doing better? We might have to delve into the stats for that one.
That's we can, let's have a quick look.
While he's looking up stats,
Turtle.
I just want a disclaimer. I have 0 Regulation G experience. So I am not qualified to talk about any of this. I have more time spent like harassing Wolfie on Twitter than I have playing Reg G games at all. Like when I started playing like theory modding for Reg G, people were supposed to be playing Mind Shower with Calyrex Shadow. Does anyone run Mind Shower anymore?
Yes.
Yeah.
It was
Still a
the winning team
Had it.
the Wolf 6, which people are now dubbing the Italian 6 because of how many Italian players were running it. It was that Calyrex Shadow. It has Mian Chao on it.
It does have Mian Shower.
Yeah.
So that's okay. So I'm not fully out of touch.
I also just want to circle back quickly. Now that you've mentioned it, Wolf, just because I know you're listening, we will want to apologize for Chris.
No, I don't want to apologize. You want him to get in to come to Perth.
Please come to Perth, Wolf. We promise that Chris won't be this creepy in person.
I'm not creepy ever at all.
You're
Not
tweeting
even
him like
online.
once a day.
They're hilarious memes. Thank you to co-panelist Dan Baguli for his incredible artwork on the memes.
You're
But
they are very well
can
done.
we please get more listeners? And I know there's so many of you. Can you please get on Twitter and repost and quote this campaign? It's hashtag Wolfie Goes Down Under.
Let's get it trending.
We need it because so far we're almost. I started in April. We're in our 3rd month of campaigning, and he's not reacted or replied to a single one of my tweets, and it's probably because I'm blocked. But I don't know how you know if you're blocked or not. So
I don't think you can tell.
I think he would be a very busy individual. Okay.
he's got a year to prepare.
And we'll get a stream for Perth if he comes, right?
Yeah, I think the $6,000 US prize money that you get for coming to Perth and winning, like that makes up. It's like it's a lot of money for a weekend's work.
Yeah. So on the Turtle, on your question of is it more prevalent or is it doing better? So there were 29 turtles in the top 256 at Bologna, 12 choice specs, 9 covert cloak, and 8 leftovers. For reference, all of the leftovers, people, you are wrong.
Agreed.
I don't know. Like with leftovers and grassy terrain, you can get your Terra Shell back.
But it's hard.
And isn't there some like meme heal pulse mons going around? In the, like,
Yeah, because they use
Comfey seeing a lot of
Comfey,
that,
yeah, floral healing. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, continue.
So bear in mind that there's 9 covert cloaks. So the top 7 ranked turtle teams, which go top 4, top 8, top 32, top 32, top 32, top 64, are all covert cloak.
Ah,
Wow.
interesting.
The first choice specs is 9-6, run by City Bardiane, which was an interesting one. I mean, Turtle, Tornadus, Iron Hands, Amoongus, Fluttermane, and Chi-Yu. So not even really like what you would call the traditional, like heal yourself to keep it going. Like that's probably getting 1, calm mind before it needs to start popping off.
Are you finally satisfied though that Terrapagos won an event like Lima? Because you have been on the edge of your seat for this.
Is that
Yeah,
the
but
first event that Terrapagos has won?
Yeah, but it was a 6-round special event. Like,
oh, okay. So
like we have locals that are bigger.
Yeah.
It had 43 people, I think, from memory.
So it's basically a consolation prize then. Like
it's pretty much our MSS.
It's pretty much
Yeah.
It's like one of those like in school where you get the merit certificate and like eventually every student had to get one of the year. So they just gave one.
It's the same in the sports teams that I used to play as a kid, like, under 12s soccer and that kind of thing.
I was going to say that primary school merit award is quite triggering because I always got mine in term 4. Like I was always last. So any more interesting teams that we want to look at from Bologna, or should we move further backwards to LA?
If there were interesting teams at Bologna, I don't think they were on stream.
No.
I just kept seeing it was the same Calyrex Shadow or Miraidon or Terrapagos. Or maybe a couple of Calyrex Ice. But that was basically it. It was just the same teams over and over.
I think the biggest stocks are definitely on the Honces, the Turtle, and Miraidon.
I did think it was funny that if anyone like watched or listened to Rajan Bowles and Aaron Traylor's kind of recap of Indy with Miraidon, a lot of people were running the first iteration of Rajan's Miraidon team with the hands and the Hearthflame Ogerpon. So like, I don't want to be conformed to this winning team. I want the second best one. And yeah, there was a few of those that have popped up at all the events as well. Cool.
Yeah. Thanks for your contribution, Dan.
I had no comments for that one, unfortunately. So
you're too smart for the rest of us with your insightful commentary.
So I'll cut out the big break.
But that'll just make our commentary make no sense. You need the context.
So you're saying the team that won, the Miraidon that won, is not being played much.
Yeah, they're using like different variations of it. They like went through their step process of how they built it.
Yeah.
Like with Iron Hands or if it had Hearthflame, and those ones are also picking up in usage as well.
People are still doing discharge memes with it.
Yeah, like the Chi-Yu Choice Scarf has also got ground Terra type for another one.
It was the Terra Ground Terra Blast Chi-Yu. I remember that.
Terra Ground Terra Blast Chi-Yu.
Yeah. Presumably just to hit Miraidon.
And to ignore your own discharge. So
with Scarf
that's true.
as well.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. I do like a Scarf.
Is that Scarf Chi-Yu?
Yeah, Scarf Chi-Yu.
So the winner of LA, super basic white girl team, Firewater Grass, Calyrex Shadow with Clefairy, and some speed control with Tornadus. I mean, it's super basic, but
when you say Firewater Grass, we're talking Rillo,
Incin, and Urshifu.
Yeah.
But I mean,
the pivot core.
the pivot core. I will say, quite interesting though that the Urshifu Rapid having Focus Sash.
Yeah, that's picking up.
Uncommon item for Water Bear, but it makes sense.
It was Focus Sash Urshi Dark was super prevalent in Regulation F, but I think more and more Focus Sash Water Bear is becoming more and more prevalent.
Catch your face there.
Well, it gives you like you don't have to worry about getting like, Raging Bolt, Thunderclap to the face and like just straight up dying. You can safely
at least
U-turn
do
or whatever. Yeah.
There was someone at Bologna running Terra Stella Focus Sash as well, just for extra damage and an extra turn, so you can get a close combat.
Terra Stella.
Stella Terra is picking up in general. I think. I've been seeing more and more of it.
LA, quite an interesting one. Would have been after the indie win of Miraidon. In terms of cores, like number 1, number 2, and number 3 are all Miraidon cores, with the number 2 core being Terrapagos core. So obviously, US just loving the first victory of Miraidon there. Probably a little bit of iteration there in terms of like what they're using. So number 1 Miraidon core is Miraidon, Wims, Ursaluna, Blood Moon, and Farigiraf. Then we swap out Blood Moon for Iron Hands in the number 2 core. And then the number 3 core, we bring back in Ursaluna Bloodmoon and remove Farigiraf for Incineroar.
Funky.
Yeah, I mean, that's all basically the main versions of that Miraidon core, but
Did you see there was only 2 Terrapagos in top 32 for LA?
I'm ignoring it.
Wow. Was it all just Shadow Horse and Miraidon?
There was a few Zamas, a couple of
Yeah,
Miraidons,
of course, yeah.
a couple of Koraidons, but I really liked the Zacian team that finished top 4 with the Umbreon. I thought that was cool.
Yeah, Keon Campbell.
Yeah. Very cool team. I think it's like the best.
What was
Yeah,
the- what was the Umbreon
Zacian
running?
has done.
So Snarl, Taunt, Foul Play, Yawn with safety goggles, Terra Water, and then typical Zacian with Sword Stance, Mystic Water, Urshifu, Focus Chienpao, Covert Cloak Tornadus.
Umbreon is my favorite Pokemon for all my future Pokemon husbands listening. You will win me over with Umbreon merch.
Didn't you say Tyranitar when we did this segment?
No,
at the
I said it was my
beginning?
favorite. I said, like, what was your favorite VGC Pokemon to use in VGC?
No,
that
that
the
was your
question?
favorite Pokemon.
No. If you go back and listen to episode 2, you will hear me say that Umbreon's my favorite Pokemon, but competitively, it was TJ.
We're going
Splice
deep
it in
into
right
the.
here.
I would like to splice in Joel's reply. Like, yes, that is correct. I went back and listened.
We're going deep into the O2 drop lore.
Yeah, I mean, O2 drop lore is that we've been trying to convince Sliff to get with Chris forever, and Sliff,
A straight male, can I just
a
point out?
straight male,
It's playing hard to get.
loves Umbreon as well. So that is a match made in heaven.
Sliff and I are massive Umbreon and Kingdra fans. We'd have bonded over those two quite a bit. Not sexually.
I do love to see a Ditto in top 8 at LA, run by Justin Burns. I don't think it was the only Ditto to get points in LA either. Not that I know off the top of my head. I'm going to have to go looking for this, but 6 Ditto at LA.
Yeah, Raghav also was using Ditto top 32.
Yeah, and they're all in. Oh no, I mean 3 of them were in Miraidon teams. Interesting. And then 1 with a Ice Horse, 1 with a Shadow Horse, and 1 with a Koraidon. So very interesting. Kind of a mixed bag of results. 3 out of 6 made it to day 2, and then the other 3 all finished positive.
Enough of the good teams. There was a really jank team I want to shout out.
Yes, tell us.
It had a Meowscarada,
Nice.
a Tinkaton,
Nice.
an Iron Moth, a Sylveon, a Terrapagos, and a Gyapdos.
Oh.
Ooh.
So spicy.
Where did it go? What was the final score?
VJ sued 6-3 at a top 128.
6-3 is not a bad result for
Yeah.
a Tinkaton Meowscarada team.
Exactly, yeah.
I'm actually running Tinkaton at the moment.
That's why I thought you like it.
I do really like it. I don't think Tinkaton's good, but it's been quite fun to run.
It does beat Rock Ogerpon,
Yeah.
which we know is O2 Drop's favorite Ogerpon form.
It is. And it's picking up usage just in general, Rock Ogerpon.
It is, yeah.
I think the fact that it can't be one shot by a Miraidon is quite appealing to a lot of people.
That is a wild team.
Yeah, right.
That is an aggressively wild team.
I'm looking, I was like, how does it even work? How did he win 6 games?
What was the item on Iron Moth?
Booster energy.
Booster energy, presumably.
So it's basically a Regulation A Meowscarada, but with Terra Stella. I feel like you still commit to Terra Grass or Terra Water with Overgrow because it's got a Focus Sash. Assault Vest Tinkaton, Booster Moth, Fairy Feather Sylveon, Hyper Voice.
Also, not even a Throat Spray Sylveon.
No.
Choice Specs Terrapagos with the funny button Sleep Talk.
Oh, a 2-move Terrapagos.
No, it
Flame
also says
move.
Flamethrower and Earth Power.
Flamethrower, Earth Power,
Starstorms.
Starstorm, and Sleep Talk. Okay. I see.
And then Zapdos Galar with his Choice Scarf.
Choice Scarf, yeah.
But with Knockoff instead of what would have usually been U-Turn, I think.
It's knockoff. Well, what are the other 3? Because usually it's
So CC,
close.
Thunderous, and Brave.
Oh, it's usually Close Combat and Thunderous Kick.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Because a lot of people typically run one or the other of those.
Yeah.
So Fighting type move, Brave Bird, Knockoff, U-Turn tends to be the.
Coaching, yeah.
So, yeah, some people run coaching,
Choice
but they're
Scarf coaching,
wrong.
Yeah.
but they're wrong.
I mean, it's seen play. I've seen Choice Scarf Urshifu with coaching as well.
The one thing that I struggled with when I was trying to use gap dose in Regulation F was everyone knows what's coming.
Yeah.
Like it's not really a hidden trick or anything like that. So people were always just prepared, protected the right Pokemon, and you're just like, he's dead to it.
Plus, you can't run Galarian Zapdos at the moment. I think it's a very good Pokemon that just happens to exist, like happens to not do well in this format because Raging Bolt exists.
Yeah.
Like if it gets one tap by Thunderclap, I don't care what item you put on it. It's
Well, anyway, the moral is, VJ Sword, you're in the wrong country. You need to come to live in Perth because that sort of team would have fit in great in one of our local PCs.
Agreed.
hashtag VJ goes down under.
Yeah, there was some cool like super jank teams. I think I like grabbed a few of these rentals and put them in our fun format rental roulette that's coming up. So,
Nice.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
For context for anyone outside of Perth, where now that we don't have the opportunity to make points for the World Championships, our tournaments are all going to be fun formats. Yes,
Are we-
or
are we-
meme formats.
Are we bringing back a Maltese?
We're doing
one.
multi-battles, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to do choose your partner multis though, which I fundamentally disagree.
I
with.
would like Kieran and I to defend our crown. I think we
Kieran
should.
might be in Hawaii.
We can't do this on the weekend worlds.
No, because we're all going to be down south in a holiday house watching it.
I'm going to be getting very drunk and judging everyone on their fashion choices on the stream.
I'm also going to be judging people on their fashion choices. For me, it's specifically going to be the commentators because none of them know how to wear a suit properly.
Do we need to do like an O2 drop live commentary of worlds and just?
We'll be too drunk for that, but we should do it. We should definitely do a recap.
That should go horribly.
Unlike the rest of the podcast, which just goes swimmingly.
Yeah, always.
Are there any events we've missed?
Not really. I don't think so.
Can I mention Japanese nationals?
Yes, I don't have anything for that.
Well,
so please do.
It was the same weekend as Bologna, Poloni, whatever we're
I mean,
calling it.
you were there. You can tell us how to say it.
It's a Bologna, but you got to use your hands.
Okay. Yeah.
Got to use your hands when you say it.
Bologna.
But the same weekend was Japan Nationals, and they use a closed team sheet best of one format, which is like so like not what we're used to. I know, but
This is why I don't play the GC.
I do. Like I've got the top 8 poker pace, and really my comments are one, not a single Incineroar in top 8.
Oh,
That is amazing.
Yeah.
I've changed my mind. I want to come play this phase.
That's what I was like. I saw these teams and thought, "Holy shit, we are I'm playing in the wrong country." This team's got an Iron Valiant on it, for example. This team's there was a Necrozma Dawnwings Trick Room team with Ursaluna, Torkoal, Gallade, Ndidi, and Lilligant Hisuian. Yeah.
Very hot.
There was a Terra Ice Blizzard Kyogre. No, sorry, that is correct. Yeah,
Did it
I
have
have not.
Snowscape on the team, or was it just Naked Blizzard?
Did it have? It had Tornadus Snowscape. Yeah.
A Kyogre turning off its own red to click Blizzard
The same
is fucking sexy.
It was,
Prankster
the top 8 teams are all absolutely stunning. It also had a Assault-based Entei on there. It's been a while since we saw one of them.
No.
There was 2 Volcaronas in top 8. A Will-O-Wisp Terra Water Volcarona. Ally Switch for Farugiraf on the same team as that. Grass Knot Whimsicott. Okay. There was a
Grass Knot Whimsicott?
Yeah. There was a 2-2-2 Dondozo team. It was Miraidon, Fluttermane, Chi-Yu, Dragonite Choice Band, and then Dondozo Tatsugiri. Tatsugiri was Choice Scarf Sleep Talk.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah. Just every team was spicy. There was a second Assault Vest Entei. This on a Kyogre team. This one was Terra Water. It was a bit boring. Saw the Blizzard though.
Why?
What are these people doing over there?
Because that Tornadus also
Definitely
had Snowscape.
things.
There was two Snowscape Tornaduses in top 8.
I think.
Why?
I think.
That's crazy.
I think all of these teams sound crazy, but it makes a lot of sense that
No, it
Japan. No, because Japan qualifies for nationals based on their results from the GC,
Okay, yeah,
which is
fair
a
enough.
best of one CTS format. And then
Yeah.
they go and play an in-person tournament in a best of one CTS format. Like that is chaotic as fuck.
So
And
that's
I
true.
absolutely live for those
Snowscape
teams.
Tornadus with Terra Ice Blizzard Kyogre is a very close
Two-
team sheet best of one gimmick.
Two
I think I
Cali,
might run that on ladder.
yeah, two Cali
Might
Ice
join you.
teams. Two Cali Ice teams. One was a Trick Room One had an Iron Valiant with boost your energy disable.
Yes.
I love that.
Like I had the Cornerstone Ogapon as well.
Some of these teams remind me of when I was laddering and I ended up playing like Nino Pokebros.
Oh yeah.
And he like streamed like demolishing me, which is super embarrassing. But he was running like Gravity Crown with Hypnosis Valiant. And I was like, oh, he's going to do something crazy to try and stop me setting up Trick Room, because I was like still just running Slow and Boom Turtle. And I was like, oh, he's gonna stop me from doing it somehow. And I tried to play around it, and just got absolutely bonked by sleeping for 6 turns.
I think this is one that takes the cake from Kenya Kadira. His Kali Ice was Assault Vest, Terra Grass with Trailblaze. Gotta get that base 55 speed, is it? Or 50 speed? With that, gotta get that +1 speed boost.
I think if it's max out.
Kali Ice.
I must have blanked. I thought you said Caridon.
I think
that's
if
very
it's
funny.
max and it outspeeds Calyrex Shadow under.
You'd need Tailwind and a +1, I reckon. You can't. Yeah.
Give me a second.
We need to ask Jared, who did run Jolly max speed Kali at the MSF.
He did.
Did he really? And where did Jared finish?
I mean, it would have done a lot better if you didn't tell everyone beforehand what he was doing.
He's like, people are going to have no idea how fast my horse is until I tell them, because I'm so excited.
I would be absolutely like terrified of playing Jared in a close team sheet best of 1.
When we were doing,
I would never agree to that.
When we were doing prep for OCIC in 2023, we had a little like get together practice tournament at the Barrel House, and this man was running like the most oppressive control team, where he had like Fire Spin Torkoal, he had the Salt, what's Garganacle's move? Salt Cure, thank you. And then he also had like Whirlpool, I think. So you're getting hit for like half of your health each turn, and you can't retreat anything because they're all stuck in Whirlpool.
I love a good Whirlpool meme. I missed the days of the Zoomerall Perisong Whirlpool.
Just gonna jump in and quickly say that Calyrex Ice max speed, so Jolly Nature 252 EVs, hits 112 base speed at level 50, or 112 speed at level 50.
Yeah, so outspeed.
Which means when Tailwind is up, it outspeeds Calyrex Shadow, because Calyrex Shadow at max speed is 222.
Yeah.
So Calyrex Ice max speed in Tailwind would be 224 speed.
Yeah, I remember 222 because one of the calcs I had for my first Terrapagos team was that a Icy Wind or a Electro Web bring Shadow Rex down to 148, and Terrapagos is 150.
Yeah.
Max.
Yeah.
All right, there we go, everyone. So we'll be seeing a lot more Trailblaze, Kali Ice, I'm sure.
It's interesting. I like
You'd need to hit 2 Trailblazers in order to be outspeeding your Calyrex Shadow, though. It's either
or Trailblaze and a partner's Icy Wind.
Yeah.
True. Very true. Yeah.
Or you could just Tailwind. And
Or we could just click tab.
I've got an alternative. Just don't fucking do it.
Yeah, alternatively don't. That's an even better idea.
You know what you could click instead of Icy Wind? Trick Room.
And have Clear Amulet was Terra Grass.
Call it Clamulet on this show, thank you.
You could put those points into HP instead of speed.
Hot take on the O2 drop is run Trick Room with your Calyrex Ice and make sure it's holding.
We're groundbreaking team building here. Yes. Yeah.
Groundbreaking.
Groundbreaking. Look, I think we'll leave this episode on that groundbreaking take by Mark. So thank you to everyone. That wraps up the O2 drop for this episode. Thank you to our listeners for taking the time out of your day to listen to us. We appreciate you and would love for you to join us again. Don't forget to give us a follow on Twitter at the O2 drop _VGC.
Hashtag
Wolfie goes down under.
And send your dick pics to Mark for his birthday. He's
Please.
eagerly awaiting them.
Make sure
Please forward them to me.
Make sure they have little bows on them.
Yep.
And then we'll do a review in our next episode. Until next time,